Today, we're finally starting a project that we've been waiting a long time for. We rented a track steer with a forestry mulcher and we'll have it for the entire week. When we purchased this property, it had been neglected for over 20 years, so there's a serious amount of overgrowth to tackle. This land has a lot of potential, and this machine is about to make a huge difference. We've got big plans ahead, long days of hard work, and a lot of progress to show you. Let's get started. All right, guys, we finally bit the bullet and rented a forestry mulcher, okay? And I'm not gonna lie, I'm extremely nervous about running this thing. This thing is an absolute beast, okay? It's nothing like the brush cutter that I had on the Bobcat that we rented a month or so ago. This thing is a serious piece of equipment. It's over 100 horsepower. It's got the mulching head on it, and you can really, break something or hurt yourself if you're not running this thing properly. So yeah, I've got to be really careful because there's no room for error. This is a lot of horsepower, and this machine can throw things hundreds of feet and cause serious bodily harm if you do something wrong. I also want to give a big shout out to Renton King, who we rented this from. Since we bought this property, we've rented numerous pieces of equipment from them. We rented the rolling compactor. We also rented the trencher. We rented the plate compactor, and now we're renting this. These guys have been awesome. Every time we need something, we can just give them a call. They work with us on scheduling, and I can't, say enough good things about them. Not getting anything for plugging them, but I just want to put their information below. So if you're in Middle Tennessee and you need to rent some type of equipment, go ahead and reach out to Renton King. These guys will take care of you. They have skid steers, they have mini X's, they've got every piece of equipment you could imagine. So if you need to get a job done, it's much, much cheaper to rent the equipment and do it yourself. As much as we love Sam over at Nashville Land Management Services, we just can't afford $200 an hour. I mean, if we were to pay him to clear the property, all of it that we need done, it'd probably cost over $10,000. So we can rent this piece of equipment for, it's going to be about $3,000 or so, plus or minus, depending on, what you get. And we'll have it for a week, and we're going to see how much property we can clear. So I'm excited, I'm nervous, and let's do this. I want you to take a quick look at what the property looks like right now. These overgrown areas are real jungle. Even in winter, with all the leaves have fallen and the 5-foot weeds are gone, this land is still impossible to walk through. If we don't deal with it now, when summer comes, it's going to be completely unmanageable. Winter is the best time to start reclaiming and protecting this property. Hopefully, by summer, these overgrown jungles will begin to at least look somewhat like a future pasture. So whether we start raising cattle this year or next, this is going to be the foundation for our future business and for a more comfortable life on this raw piece of land. All right, let's get to work. Hey guys, it is 27 degrees out right now. I'm freezing, and yesterday when they dropped off this forestry mulcher, a big storm came in and started pouring rain all night long, so I didn't get a chance to get in here and really do anything. So I'm bringing you guys along for the first time. Climbed in this puppy, and controls are pretty much the same as the Bobcat that I rented a month or so ago, but the whole difference between the mulching head and the brush cutter is just a completely different animal. Not to mention, this thing just so much bigger. Let's do this. Oh, everything's okay. Put this down. guys, I've been at it for a couple hours, and I gotta tell you, I just feel like I'm not doing this properly at all. Just don't see a difference. I mean, the difference between this and the brush cutter is that with the brush cutter, you can't take down the really big trees, but this land is so uneven that I'm stalling this thing out like every freaking 5 minutes. It's ridiculous because, I mean, all these damn terraces in the property make it impossible to mulch because you lower the mulcher and you try to drag backwards and it hits the freaking hump in the dirt, and then it causes it to stall out, which is really, really annoying. I can't even... Why the hell did this just do this? What the fuck? Something's not right with these hydraulics. It keeps giving me this beeping sound, and I haven't done anything. I'm just like driving it now. I thought it was because I kept hitting stuff, but maybe not. I don't know. Let's see. Alright guys, going into round 2. Round 1, this thing kicked my ass. Just not very happy with the way I'm mulching right now, but again, no experience and only seeing it done, I guess. It is what it is. So let's give this another try, and hopefully I'll get better at it. All right, I'm gonna give you my honest take on renting this thing. It's only been 1 day, but so far I'm sort of regretting that I went ahead and rented it. The whole reason I rented this thing was because when I rented the brush cutter, you know, I'd cut things down and would leave, you know, stubs on the ground or larger pieces of debris, and I thought renting the forestry mulcher would fix that problem. But I keep having this problem when I try to mulch anything on the ground. It throws a hydraulic error, and I have to stop the machine and restart it. And the reason being is because the ground here is not level at all. You know, and hello, you're going to probably say, okay, well, you're probably putting too much down pressure on the, you know, mulcher, and it's hitting the ground. Well, it has to hit the ground because otherwise I can't mulch up the small stuff. Let me give you an example here. Look how uneven the ground is here. So let's just say I've got, this debris sitting right here. Nico, there's nothing there. In order to mulch it, I need to bring the head all the way down to hit this. Okay, but here, you've got ground that's higher here, you've got ground that's higher here. Okay, so anytime you try to lower the head, it hits the dirt on either side and then it throws the error. Now, yeah, I can come in this way and try to do it within the perimeters of the swell of the land. But again, the land's not even. It's either higher over here or higher over here. And what that does is it just leaves a freaking mess, just like you see right here. Like, what's the point of renting a mulcher if I can't take the head and grind down all of the pieces? May as well just have rented a brush cutter. It was cheaper, and hell, I covered so much more area with it. I mean, I cleared so much more land with the brush cutter than I have with this. I mean, now look, if I've got a piece of flat land, then it does a good job. I mean, I can get it down mulched, pretty good. But if the land's not flat, the drum will consistently hit the dirt on one side or another. And throw that error code. So it just makes it impossible. I mean, I'm just leaving a trail of destruction everywhere. This is what I'm having to deal with. All this. This all has to go. And the land has so many of these stupid terraces cut into it that, you just have to lift mulcher head so high that you're just leaving a bunch of debris. It's so overwhelming. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, oh my God, I'm going to be in this machine for countless hours every single day for the next 6 days. And when I'm done, it's just going to be a big freaking mess still. I don't consider this, land that's pasture right now. All right, I'm going to walk. Nico, hey, what do you say? Huh? What do you think? You don't care. This thing kept throwing a hydraulic indication and would stop the hydraulics. It did it dozens of times, and I kept thinking it was me causing it. So I kept adjusting the mulcher head higher and higher off the ground to the point it got to be where I wasn't even mulching anything. I was just cutting down these saplings and leaving the 6 inches of stub above the ground. And I just thought to myself, there's no way this is normal. I mean, I've seen these things in action. They should be able to take it down all the way to the ground without any problems. So this morning, when I hopped in, fired it up, kicked on the drum, and before I even started to mulch, boom, hydraulic system shuts down. And it kept doing it. I've been on the phone with Gary all morning, troubleshooting, and so far we can't figure it out. So I don't know what the solution is at this point, but it really sucks because sitting here with this machine and I can't use it. So I'm confident, Renton King is going to take care of this, so I'm not worried about that. These guys are great to work with. It just sucks to lose the time. It's definitely something with the hydraulics, and I don't know, I'm just bummed because, yesterday what I did do is a complete mess because I wasn't able to mulch everything down to the ground, and it's just going to create more work for me later to have to go over again once it is working. But look, it is what it is. Facing challenges is nothing new since we started this project, so this is just another challenge, and just have to be patient and wait for the solution. And then once we get this back up and running, then I'll be able to finish the job properly. Later that afternoon, Gary, the owner of Renton King, showed up, and it took about an hour and a half to get the Forestry Mulcher repaired. The issue ended up being related to the fuel filter. So with only about an hour and a half of daylight left, I decided to make the most of it and start clearing the trees and brush growing between the beautiful cedar trees. This strip of evergreen will eventually separate the area between our home and where we plan to put a garden, an orchard, and possibly even a chicken coop. I wrapped up the day working on this section, and I'm happy to say the machine ran flawlessly after the repair. Hopefully, it stays that way tomorrow. Good morning, guys. Today's another day. Fingers crossed it goes smoother than the last few days. So yesterday, Gary, the owner of Renton King, came out with some new fuel filters and we changed them. Fingers crossed. Let's hope that this was the problem and that I can finally get this thing rolling and get some work done, because so far it's just been a disaster of, complete waste of money at this point, because every time I tried to mulch the stumps and everything, this machine would cut out. So anyway, it seems odd that it would be the fuel filter. But then again, I'm not a mechanic, so I'm just listening to what they're saying. So, all right, fingers crossed, guys. Let's hope this works. So far, so good. I don't want to jinx myself, but I was not able to do this the last 2 days. Anytime I tried to mulch the ground, the engine would cut out. So, fingers crossed. Alright guys, I've been at it for about an hour and I am telling you the difference between the way this machine is running now and the way it was running the last day and a half is it's a completely different machine. I literally wasn't able to mulch before. Every time I put the head down in the ground and started to mulch, it would give me a error code. I can't believe that it was the fuel filters. I mean, that just blows my mind that would affect that. But what I'm thinking is it was just coincidence. When I was doing certain things, the fuel system would feel some type of error code and just throw the whole machine into shutdown. But yeah, I've been mulching the entire time this morning and not one single issue. Man, it just sucks because now I have to go back over all the stuff I cut already to get the roots down. So I'm literally doing double the work right now. So it's super frustrating, but thank God the machine is running the way it's supposed to. I thought I was a complete moron. I'm like, how can I be this bad of an operator causing all these problems? But it wasn't me. It was 100% the machine. The fuel filters were screwing up the entire machine. This is the end of the day of the first day of mulching without having problems with the machine. I'm going to be honest with you. Day one, I was regretting that I rented that machine because I thought it was all user error that was causing the problems. I can honestly say that the machine cut out on me at least 30 times. I mean, I'd start to mulch, cut out, and I thought it was me screwing up. But I kept saying to myself, I've seen enough videos, I've seen enough mulchers in action in person to know that these things can handle what I was trying to do. I was simply trying to mulch, the trimmings on the ground, and it kept cutting the machine out. Like I said, Gary came down yesterday evening and he changed the filters, the fuel filters, and lo and behold, I just mulched probably 6-7 hours today. Didn't have a single problem, and I'm proud of myself. I mean, I accomplished quite a bit. I probably cleared 5 acres. It just blows my mind how the property looks now. I mean, this is crazy. I love it. I mean, check it out. I still have all that to do, but I mean, it looks completely different. All right, I'm pretty much done with the lower pasture, and I think it turned out okay. I mean, there's still some bigger debris and everything that's going to need to be cleaned up eventually, but you know, my main goal was to clear as much land as possible in the time that I had with the skid steer. So I could have gone a lot slower and mulched things down, you know, much more professional, but I'm trying to maximize the amount of land cleared per dollar, and I think I've done a pretty good job. Man, I got to tell you, you know, these vines, these are insane. Like, you cannot get these things out of the tree. Like, these things are like aliens. They get up in the tree and they just spawn out and they grab onto the tree. I was driving the skid steer yesterday and caught one of the vines on the skid steer, and it was holding back this 13,000 pound skid steer. Like, I mean, I was having a hard time pushing forward on it. It's insane. Best thing to do is get these things out because they start to suffocate the trees. I mean, a lot of these trees have, you know, nothing but vines. I mean, it's crazy. Look at this. I mean, you've got these trees which basically it's like an alien, you know, got up in here and took it over. I mean, look at this. I mean, there's nothing. Let's see if I can pull this one out. Oh, shit. I can't do it. And as you can see, this is some serious terrain. I mean, it doesn't show up on the camera very well, but very, very difficult to maneuver and get things nice and smooth because of the way these terraces are. I hate these terraces. I don't know if there's a way to get rid of them. If anyone out there knows if it's possible to reverse this kind of thing with a bulldozer and just smooth it all out. They did it back in the 50s, I think, for erosion. But the reason they had to do it is because they clear cut everything. If you keep the pasture healthy, I would think that it can handle the watershed without needing these terraces. But if anyone has any experience with that, let me know in the comments. I'd love to know if there's a possible way to push over some of these big ones, because once we get a tractor trying to mow this, it's going to be a nightmare. You've got a bush hog that's going to cut flat like this. And if you try to drive over one of these terraces, it's just not going to work very well. This is the lower pasture. I'd say it's probably close to 5 acres or so. And then you got the middle pasture, that's about another 5 acres up there. On that side, that's the only part of the property that was clear when we purchased it. And that's where we're going to do our farming, orchard, and all that. And then we want to turn this lower pasture, middle pasture, and then back pasture into doing some type of livestock. Yeah, I'm going to hit that back pasture now and go ahead and give you final thoughts when we're done with all that. Let you know all the money that was spent renting the Forestry Mulcher, the fuel costs, all that good stuff, and then let you know whether or not you know, it was worth doing it myself or if you should hire a professional yourself. So, for the last few days, all my focus has been on the back pasture. This is one of the wildest, most overgrown parts of the property. It's so dense that we had never even stepped foot on here until October when I first rented the brush cutter. This entire 10-acre parcel will one day become a pasture, but right now it feels more like untouched wilderness. Even though this back pasture isn't as steep as the front pasture, it's still extremely challenging because of all the thick brush. The terrain back here is steep enough to demand constant focus, and the dense trees and overgrowth slow everything down. Every few feet takes real effort. After 2 full days of work, I can honestly say I haven't even cleared 30% of this area. It's a humbling reminder of how much work still lies ahead. And at this point, it's clear. Before spring arrives, I'm going to need to rent a mulcher for at least one more time to keep the project moving. All right, guys, that is 7 days of Forestry Mulcher rental is complete. I've done everything we can do. It's the day after Christmas, so I hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas. We did. So it's been interesting to have our first Christmas here, and it's 70 degrees out. We thought it'd be cold.
Christmas weather, yeah.
Yeah. So the question is, was it worth it for me to rent the Forestry Mulcher? Let's talk numbers. The Forestry Mulcher through Rent and King costs about $3,200 for a week, okay? Around here, if you want to hire a professional, it's about $1,600 a day. They charge between $2 and $250 per hour or whatever, so it runs out to be about $1,600. I can speak with 100% certainty based on the fact that we had hired Sam at Nashville Land Management Services previously, and we have spent approximately around $5,000 with him, I think, clearing land. All in all, we're about $10,000 into clearing land. So I want to make sure you guys understand this. If you are buying land and it is not cleared, you need to factor in that it is going to be one of your biggest expenses, because I did not think it was going to cost this much to simply clear land. I mean, we spent $10,000 so far and we're still not done. So keep that in mind, that it does cost a lot of money to go ahead and clear the land. And you know, we're doing a lot of it ourselves. If we were to just hire someone to clear all this land, I'm thinking probably 20,000 plus or more, you know, maybe even 30,000. You know, they say like sometimes it's like 1,000 an acre to, you know, clear stuff that's in this condition, lots of trees and everything. The whole way we have to look at this is how much are we spending per acre to clear? If we were to hire someone like Sam, we would get 2 days of work out of him. That's it. That's going to be $3,200, budget's blown, and he's going to come in here and clear. And based on what he cleared previously, I'd say, you know, clear maybe 2 acres a day, I think, probably. These types of, clearings that we need, because it was very thick, very uneven terrain. So let's just say he averaged 2 acres a day. He would be here and, say, clear 4 acres for $3,200, all right? Now, granted, he's doing all the work, you're not doing anything, so, you know, if you've got the money, maybe that's more attractive to you. For us, we needed to go ahead and find a way to clear the most land for the least amount of money. So I pretty much did a rough estimate of how much I cleared in the last week, and it's around, I'd say, you know, I'd say it's a good 8 acres that I cleared. If you're looking simply at cost per acre cleared, it was definitely worth it for us to rent the Forestry Mulcher, because I got cleared, you know, pretty much twice as much land for the same amount of money. Now, granted, I was in the machine all week long doing the work myself, but, you know, if you don't have the funds to, you know, hire someone to do all that work, it's definitely worth it to do yourself. So if you're adventurous and it's something, you know, you think might be cool to do, maybe don't rent it for an entire week. Rent it for, you know, a day or two, see how you like it, see how you progress with it. And if you feel comfortable, then just maybe extend the rental and do the job. But I definitely recommend, you know, you only live once, try to do as many things as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just be careful. These machines are very dangerous. I mean, you know, God forbid you know, get caught up in something or flip it over, or that drum hits something it's not supposed to hit. It can be a very massive bill, because, you know, then they're not insuring these things. If you break something, you're paying for it out of your pocket, and, you know, those carbine teeth are like $4,000 a set. So if you run into something, you know, a big metal pipe or something, you could really cause some damage and have a big bill. So, but yeah, all in all, it was successful. I'm happy with, you know, what we accomplished. It's not the greatest job. I mean, there's still a lot of debris, but again, you know, this isn't something that's going to get done overnight. You know, once we do get a tractor, it's just going to require going over numerous times with the brush hog to break everything down, and we're going to need to get that pasture going. And, you know, it's a journey, not a destination. So, yeah, guys, if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to, you know, comment below, and we'll get back to you and answer anything you guys have a question about. And, you know, if you're looking to rent some equipment, definitely check out Rent and King. They've taken care of us every single time, so definitely love to help out any small businesses that take care of us.
Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Please leave your comment below. We will be happy to answer it.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next week.
Yep.